Mobike Chibogu joins us. We know him as Coachee. I know you've probably binged on his content on social media. Well, he's right here with us on the morning brief, joining us virtually. Coachee, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I'm surprised they are not coaching the Super Eagles. What's going on? The match is in a few hours. Did you decide to stay back? Are you doing work from home? Because we expect that you'll be there coaching our Super Eagles with all of that, your finesse and demure. What's going on?
Nothing is going on. I already left instructions to to the guys in camp.
I like that. I like that. Well, it's good to have you on the show. I must say we particularly love your content. Speaks to just how versatile and creative Nigerians are. But on just a lighter note, and I know this conversation will be on a lighter note all through. How tough is it to be a coach? We're always expecting the most from coaches. We say you have to do. You didn't win that match, but for you, how tough has it been to coach your very gifted and talented team members?
The fun fact is that I'm actually not really considering like playing character. Well, I think I know what it feels like also like being a coach because I've worked on that coaches for as long as I can remember. I've been playing academy football since I was like 7, so I've been with like a couple coaches, and I think I understand what the pressure of like being a coach is like. It's not easy. It's not.
Clearly, we can see it's not easy. And I'm talking about you as Coachee in your content. That's what I mean, not you as a coach in real life. But I'd like you to talk us through how this became a thing for you in the first place. You've given us a background as to you playing academy football. But when did this really become a thing? And why did it become a thing, Coachee?
Okay, this all started, I think, back 2020, late 2020, early 2021. So it was all coming from like my personal experiences navigating like the whole footballing system in Nigeria, trying to like go on to like to the greener pasture of football. It was a lot of like hurdles and a lot of like ups and downs. So I think at the during the COVID period, I was supposed to travel for a trial program. So but the COVID thing happened, and that time frame of nothing happening, it gave me actually give me time to go over the whole footballing system in Nigeria, how it's been affecting and how it was affecting me at the time of trying to secure good deals abroad and all of that. And I now found it to be that, it's not really like a lot of people are looking at the Nigerian footballing issues from the top side, whereas the major issues are coming from the grassroots, because we have a lot of unqualified coaches that are taking on these jobs in the grassroots, nurturing players without the actual knowledge of football, what football actually is. I think that's where this whole the whole idea came on, and the vision was to also like tackle these issues, bring attention to what's going on in the grassroots football, and then try to find solutions to this, because this, if we're talking about problems that we are facing in the country as a footballing nation, it boils down to deep down to the grassroots level. Because if you look at the grassroots level, I'm telling you, over 90%, over 95% of grassroots coaches are not qualified. They are not qualified. So this is like, when when you send someone who doesn't know about teaching. And the grassroots, the grassroots level of football is where like is the most important, development time of these footballers. And when you leave them in the hands of coaches who do not know nothing, they have absolutely zero, knowledge about what the game is talking about, you're breeding disaster. So I think this is that was what the whole idea was of like trying to bring attention to that.
Apparently, this is a serious conversation. I know that you try to make it as fun as possible. We're a footballing nation. We love sports. We love football. We love. Some people have argued that whether we're a footballing nation or we're not a footballing nation. But I know that when the Super Eagles are playing, just like we did on Saturday, and we're going to do today in Kigali, Rwanda, all attention as much as possible will be there, and it brings us joy because it is one moment where we forget all the problems that politicians has brought us into. It is one moment where we're not thinking about tribe, ethnicity, or religion. So that unification, that unifying point is quite important to all of us. And that's why we support when we have to support. We criticize hard when we want to criticize hard because of how important the role of these footballers are. And that is where you've chosen to create your content from. So you've identified grassroots as a challenge in terms of the capacity of the people that are coaching the boys. So if you were to be specific as to some of the things they are doing wrong, these ones that you call quote unquote ignorant coaches, what will it be?
First, there's a lot of areas where they are getting it like wrong. First of all, regards to approach to understanding the developmental parts of these players, that they are at the developmental stage. Their approach to the whole footballing system, training wise, psychological, approaches to these players. It's a lot, but I'll just cut the short here because these are the major parts of it all. I don't know if you get to their approach, their orientation they have, and the orientation they are impacting their creating.
So do you have Bobike, do you have my apologies, do you have like an example of what you noticed? I know you display them in your skits. For persons who haven't seen your skit, so maybe you can give us, that's why I asked for a specific example. I know you try to maybe give a compound approach to what you're talking about, maybe something specific. They are doing this that is not right. That's why I'm saying this is an important conversation, even though you make it as humorous as possible.
You see coaches they have a team, and they have people coming, they have players who are training under them week in, week out, and you'll be shocked that when it's time for like matches to happen or maybe competitions to happen, they start sourcing for players outside. They start making calls to different places to come, seeking for players to come play for them. You understand, in tournaments, in matches, whereas you've had boys that have been training week in, week out, who deserve to play those games, but you leave them aside and start making calls to whoever, mercenaries, to come in and help you in games. That is one. And then when it comes to the training aspect, a lot of Nigerian coaches, tactically, when it comes to grassroots level, tactically, a lot of them are not very sound. So they all believe in physicality. They just want these players running. Like, you could come to trainings and you see some coaches asking players to do as much as 40 laps.
What?
Before a training starts, like 40, 50, goes on. And that is just what they all know about, when it comes to training these players. It's all about running, physicality. The orientation is just very bizarre.
You know what, Coachee? I'm not your go-to football enthusiast. Cowdy and Jeffrey are, gradually turning me into one. But one thing that I have become in the last 8 hours or a little more is a Coachee convert. I've been binging on your content, and I must say that it's a product of someone who is thinking outside the box. Speaking of which, let's have a feel of something that you have also done recently, and then we'll continue the conversation. So just hang on there. We'll be right back.
Inside this square now, they go give you, I want me to control them inside this square. You understand? Let's go. Jesus, what type of plane is this? You? God forbid. God forbid. Footballer, God forbid. You don't feel control boys inside this big space. Give me more. You don't feel control boys inside this big man, God forbid, footballer. See, God, they make me talk too much. They make me talk too much. Come, take. Just sign here. Sign here. Coachee, let them retirement. Sign here before Uncle. I know what. See, you better just retire. I don't want to see you anywhere where they play football. Just retire, no need. Is that why you're here?
That was a catastrophic retirement. So, Coachee, here it is. You're carving a niche for yourself. This is, an untapped area as far as creativity and sports is concerned. And your bio says that you're an athlete. So that's, somebody who has a sports background now drawing on creativity as well. So walk us through your thinking process, how you come up with these ideas and how challenging it is really, to create this content, how you access the stadium and all of that.
Okay, when it comes, let me start with the whole idea, and how I come up with these things. A lot of persons, I see comments sometimes. A lot of persons are like, "Guy, wait till the smoke," all these kind of things. It's actually funny, but someone that's been like I said, I've been playing academy football since I was like 7, so I've been around in and out of like football for a very long time. So the funny thing is that I've never had to sit down one day and be like, "Oh, I want to think about the contents that I want to do now." Like this whole idea just comes to me very naturally, and when I speak to a lot of people as well, they're like, "Are you not worried you're gonna like run out of like content?" And like some other places, I'm intrigued that like you still have this thing going, still in the football thing, like you've not run out of content. And it's funny because football is actually very vast, and like I said, it just all comes to me naturally, and I don't even bother about like, oh, what to come up with next and all. So all of that comes up to me naturally. So having access to where like I make this content, I make most of my contents like in most of them are in Port Harcourt, and some other are in Lagos. The management of the complexes that I use have been like very helpful as well, and I'm really like thankful to them for like always granting us access to be able to complete this magic. I think that's like that's question. I don't know if there's any other question.
Yeah, and I was just drawing some sort of inspiration from your story. You played academy football, and the dream for most footballers at that level is to play for the national team. Play for big clubs, be in the same room with the stars. You didn't go that route. I mean, quite, but you still ended up at the destination of sorts. I mean, you've had encounters with Victor Boniface, Victor Osimhen, Mr. Easy has been in your skit, and I could go on and on. It's quite inspirational that most times the route people want to take might not be the route that will get them to the destination, but never stop, never hang your boots in that sense. You're still doing that. I don't know if you agree with me, if you've seen it that way, but I'd like to drag you into football anyway, because you are Coachee, and there's a big match for us in Nigeria today. There have been lots of back and forth with the Super Eagles, and I want to know, for you, would you still like to play for the Super Eagles? Is it a dream you still have?
Obviously, that's something like if that opportunity comes, I will gladly like both hands and legs, because that's actually been like a dream, like a long time dream of mine. But like regardless, I'm really happy where I am. I'm really happy where I am. I've also found another way around all of this. So yeah, it's something I would probably intend.
Well, Nigerians will drag you if you miss a goal. But speak to us. What wing or what position do you play? Are you a goalkeeper, a defender, midfielder, a striker? What particular position do you play?
I'm an attacker, like anywhere in the front.
How many goals do you have already?
which of
How many goals I have?
Yes, to your credit.
Ronaldo has 901. Do you have 1005?
Ronaldo did not work. Do you know how many goals he scored? Like in a week, you score like 1,000 goals. It's not recorded. They just share your friends. So, if we want to talk about go catalog, Ronaldo the learn, but it's not recorded.
Okay,
No,
I'm looking at this particular video. So let's be clear, this is your stomach. Is it real or is part of the skit?
it's props actually.
Mobike
And I think another thing people. Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, another thing people find interesting is that like when they see me and they're like, "Oh, you're actually a calm person."
Really?
You expect me like
so
like
cool.
when they meet me, they're like, "Oh, you're not loud, you're not this." It's just that, all of that's just being me, like being in character. The whole Coachee thing is just being me in character. But like,
Okay.
besides all of that, I'm not very person. You know,
Just a few more things as we begin to wind down. Mobike, on this particular one, I see that you're combating fake coaching, if you will. That's how perhaps to summarize what you do with your skits. But as Kayode has said, let's go back to the match that we're having this evening in Kigali, Rwanda. Guavon has made us proud, and yet again, he's going to be responsible for what happens this evening. If you were to give him any advice, what will it be? Because we need all the maximum point that we can get. We need to just check that in our bucket list.
if I have to, if there's one advice I have to give him, I think he should maintain the unity he has in his dressing room. I don't know. I think he's found a way. The difference I've seen is that he's found a way to make these players come together and want to play for him, because that's one thing that's one very big thing you should go on for as a coach. Having a unity and you taking charge of your dressing room, bringing a unity to your team and making the players wanting to play for you. Because if these players do not have that motivation to want to play for you, I mean, we also how they played in Rio. It was a different thing from what we've seen since February. These are players that that they are playing. You can feel it that these guys are like, they want to play. They are giving it up. So whatever he's doing, that's keeping that unity, that's making these players want to give their best. I think he should continue with that.
So if all these elements are in place for our match against the Wasps of Rwanda, how easy will it be to defeat them? And in addition to that, Coachee, I'd like you to make a prediction. What would the scoreline be today?
Okay. For the scoreline prediction today, I pitched the Eagles to win by 2. It's an away game. It's away games are usually tough, when it comes to especially when it comes to African football. So I'm pitching the Eagles 2-0 against the Rwandans.
How easy will it be to defeat them?
Easy. Ordinarily, when it comes to football on paper, I don't see anybody on that group. We don't even need a coach to beat anybody on that group when it comes to football on paper. But this is football; anything can happen. So Rwanda is not, for as long as I remember, it's not any match near the Nigeria Super Eagles. So it ordinarily would be an easy walkover for us. But
right.
like I said, this is football, and we have really had it easy over the past 2 months. So we are going to win. I'm certain we are going to win, but it might not come off as easy for us, but we're definitely.
Well, we need all of the wins we can get, but we have to thank you so much. You've been winning, and we are happy to see that. We wish you the very best, Mobike Chigbogu, aka Coachee, aka Ronaldo they learn where I did, aka 1,000 goals per week. Content creator. Thank you so much for your time, and again, wish you all of the best.
Thank you.